Ms. Nadia Samdin.
Mr. Speaker, local food production plays an important role in Singapore's efforts to enhance resilience of our food supply. To complement the ramp-up in local food production under the 30 by 30 goal, my ministry supports the local farmers in a few ways. Last year, we ran the Singapore Food Story campaign to raise consumer appreciation and support for local produce. As part of the campaign, the Singapore Food Agency, or SFA, launched the SG Fresh Produce, SGFP, logo to help consumers identify and support local produce. The logo was designed in consultation with industry stakeholders and over 2,200 members of the public. To date, over 50 local farms, distributors, and supermarket retailers have successfully applied to use the logo on their produce, packaging, and marketing collaterals. SFA is also helping to promote local produce through promotions and better branding and display at major retailers like the NTUC FairPrice, Cold Storage, Sheng Siong, and Prime Supermarket. In the virtual space, the Singapore Agro-Food Enterprises Federation Limited, or SAFER, has partnered Lazada's RedMart to launch an ESG farmers market page. This offers consumers the convenience of choosing over 100 local produce items from 20 local farms at the click of their fingertips. As part of its outreach, SFA has helped to connect farms with potential corporate buyers, such as food and beverage and retail establishments, to negotiate possible offtake arrangements and partnerships. Later this year, a clean and green standard for urban farms will be launched. This certification recognizes local farms that have adopted resource-efficient farming practices and ensured clean farming environments. It serves as a mark of assurance to our customers that the produce from these farms are not only free from synthetic pesticides, but also grown in a sustainable way. In the spirit of Singapore Together, MSE and SFA convened a citizens' work group last year to co-create ideas to increase demand for local produce. Arising from their recommendations, we have recently announced plans to work with industry partners and interested members of the Citizens Work Group to pilot 2 projects targeted at marketing local produce to 2 key customer groups: new mothers' first meal after delivery and patrons at our markets. While SFA will continue to support local farmers through promotions and initiatives mentioned above, increasing demand for local produce is ultimately the responsibility of the farmers. Producing good quality and safe farm products, giving good value to consumers, and getting production at a competitive cost level will ensure the sustainability of our local farming industry. We will work closely with the farmers and the stakeholders to help local produce gain market acceptance in Singapore. Thank you.
Ms. Samdin.
So I thank the MOS for his response, and I think many appreciate the fact that we are tackling food security and note that we also have a 30 by 30 goal. But there are concerns that as we ramp up production and improve productivity, whether there is also an equal focus on and resources being put towards ensuring and monitoring that production is environmentally sustainable. And to the end, I'm glad to hear about the upcoming Clean and Green Standard and also the work of the Citizens Work Group. But for example, practices such as proper waste management, how will that be looked into? I'll be very grateful if the ministry could share some of its plans in this regard. And also, to what extent is food from land-based and sea-based farms exported for consumption overseas instead of being consumed here in Singapore? And does that go towards our 30 by 30 goal? Thank you.
Thank the member for the supplementary question. There are actually 2 parts to the question. The first on how we, as we ramp up, we continue to ensure that environment sustainability is taken into account. The second is on the export. So I'll touch on the first part first. I think, first of all, the 30 by 30 goal is precisely to give us this opportunity to relook at how we can create an agro-food hub in Lim Chu Kang as part of the master planning. And through the process of master planning, we can not just increase the productivity of our produce, but also to take into account some of the environmental factors in the design of the land use, as well as the methods in which the farming technology can be introduced in this new plan. So to give you an example, as part of the design of the Lim Chu Kang master planning, we will be taking into consideration the possibility of integrating different services together as a shared service, for example, the waste management that the member talked about. And this will allow us to ensure that the environment factors are taken into account, and also to pull the resources together from different farming industry and technology to be introduced to ensure the environment is protected. By having this hub also allow us to actually ensure the integration of some of the services from the food waste to actually industry feed and food feed or vegetable feed. To give you an example, poultry waste actually can be recycled into produced biogas, which can then provide some energy for the farms. And at the same time, the solid waste from this poultry waste can also be used as fertilizers for the vegetables. So these are some of the ideas that we will be implementing, and this gives us an opportunity not just to ramp up the productivity, but also to ensure that the environment sustainability will be taken into account. The second part of the question is about export. Today, most of our local produce are actually catered towards local markets. And in the coming 30 by 30 plan, we envisage it is likely to be the same. However, we do understand that exporting vegetables and produce will allow our farmers to gain economy of scale, to lower their costs, and also to become a competitive regional player. So we work with ESG and we work with the agencies to support our markets to facilitate the export where necessary, and to ensure that we don't just have a very vibrant agri-food hub in Singapore, but also a competitive one in the region. Thank you.